fellow human, welcome back to another Dank Doggo slash PettyRevenge videos. So does your parents go through your phone and read your text messages, or they would respect your privacy? Moving on to the first story. So you wanna snoop in your daughter's texts? So I'm married to a wonderful woman. She's smart, funny, and very kind. Her mother is generally very nice and tend to have great attitude and be very enjoyable. A bit prude, but generally enjoyable, however, can be a bit of major snoop. If my wife leaves her phone sitting around, she'll just pick it up and start going through it. My wife has kind of laughed this off as a remnant of her mom being controlling when she was a kid. I'm not a fan of this because my wife and I will sometimes text about things that simply don't involve her mother and I don't feel are her business at all. So over Christmas, her mom saw my wife set her phone down on the kitchen counter and I had a brilliant idea. Her mom was still in the kitchen and I sent my wife the dirtiest, depraved text about all the things I was going to do to her when everyone left. Honestly, most of them are the things that we haven't done, but I had to make it extra scaring. I sent this text from the bathroom, and maybe it was my imagination, but I could swear I could hear an audible gasp shortly after her phone went off. When I went out, her mother absolutely would not look me in the eye. Then, not so discreetly, asked her daughter to come talk to her in the other room. When my wife came back into the living room, I thought she had been crying. However, upon closer inspection, she was laughing. Her mother had questioned her about me abusing her. And if I always talk down to her like that, my wife had told her kindly that what we do is between us and us only. Probably the best gift this Christmas. I love the fact that she didn't deny doing all of those things, just told like her mother it was none of her business what you two did. Or maybe she just wanted to try all of those things, you never know. We have here the second story written by / Grape Ice Cream Float. Faked proof that I had a flat tire so that the lazy people in my group project would have to do presentations themselves, therefore likely will fail. I'm in a class where group research project / presentation is a huge chunk of overall points. Everyone knows in group projects you always have that one slacker who doesn't do anything that you have to compensate for. However, I got stuck with possibly the worst 3 people to be in a project within the class. I did the entire research, presentation, poster boards, etc. among many other annoying things myself. I tried talking to them and telling them that they needed to put in their share of efforts. Ignored. I would send them tasks to do. Ignored. I'll try to schedule meetings and they say they're coming and then leave me alone at the library. This happened from the get-go. It was abundantly clear that they expected everyone else to do the work, but everyone else turned out to be just me. Rule: we couldn't have things 100% memorized word by word, and we couldn't read off of anything. We had to actually know the subject. I was fully prepared to do most of the talking, and even wrote down a small script for them, and told them to know what to say during their part at the very least. The night before, I told them we had to meet to at least go over the whole thing one time. Once again, none of them showed. At this point, I'm livid and decide that they can just do it themselves, which means that they would get up there, not know a darn thing to say other than the small info I gave them, and couldn't even BS anything because they did no research. Thing is, if we miss without an excuse, we will fail the project. If you have an excuse, you have to have documentation. I commute and live an hour away, so I decided that I will conveniently have a flat tire right before class. Went out and actually bought a tire so that I could have the receipt to prove it. Emailed to the professor, who said that I could present by myself during his office hours. Turns out, they completely bombed and probably failed the project. But since they're just bad students, the professor might even make them fail the class. For your information, the professor stated at the beginning that we were not allowed to contact him about people slacking in the group. He said to work it out amongst ourselves. He said that we were adults, and he wouldn't even respond to emails about it. But still, what do you mean by resolving it by ourselves? These kind of beliefs are condoning lazy behavior of students. Well, sure, the students in this story failed, but out there are crap tons of people who didn't even lift a finger and still got straight A's out of group projects. Next up, we have the third story shared by /NedRugby. A lady almost hit the front of my car trying to pull into a parking slot spot I was turning into, so I just sat there. So I'm at Costco, in need of dog food, and it's ridiculously busy for a Monday. Barely any parking spots until I spot one at the end of the lot. I make my way down the aisle, and I'm about to turn into the parking spot when a lady runs over the curb and almost hits me to take the spot. Thankfully, I tapped my brakes in time, or she could have taken off my bumper. I look up, and she's like shaking her head and waving her finger in a no motion at me. What the duck? I was like, okay? I'll just wait for her to back up since I'm obviously turning into the spot. She doesn't. My girlfriend is with me and was pissed that the lady wasn't budging. I gave her my Costco card and just sat in the aisle in the face-off with this lady. She goes inside, gets the dog food, and comes back out and loads up the car. She then pushes the cart into the spot we're waiting for and hops in the car. The look of woman's face was enough to give me satisfaction for a week. She had to get out and move the cart so she could park once I reserved through the entire aisle. Worth it! Perfectly executed! When dealing with Karen, just remember that you don't have to do it alone. Moving on to the fourth story shared by /Not Another Donut. Take my parking spot that I just dug out? Fine, I'll bury your car. This happened a couple of years ago. It had snowed a bunch, so I went out to clear a spot for my boyfriend at the time for when he got home from work, a police officer. I spent a while digging it out, and as I was finishing up, some girl drove up and parked in it while I was still shoveling it. I told her that I just dug it out, intending to use it, and asked her to move, and she didn't. She then got out of her car and walked away. Turns out she lived 2 buildings down, so she normally wouldn't park there anyways. Our complex had a mini snowplow, and the dude was plowing in the area and saw this all go down. He helped me move all the snow from the pile he just created and put it around her car. We burned it up to the door handles on all sides. He then dug out a new spots for me. Saw her later trying to dig out her car. Turns out she didn't even have a shovel. So, naturally, because I'm petty, I went out and re-shoveled the sidewalk from the lot up to our building and threw all the snow on her vehicle while I did it. Then went inside and took my shovel with me. I wonder if the woman was watching while OP did it. That would be icing on the petty cake. Next up, we have the fifth story. I put up a fake note in a Corvette's windshield that read, "Sorry I hit your car, you probably wouldn't even notice the damage because it was taking up 4 spots. So title is fairly self-explanatory, but I will elaborate. I was trying to find a parking spot at my university. The lot was notoriously crowded, but my campus didn't have a lot of options. While searching, I saw a Corvette taking up 4 prime spots near the front of the lot. After about 10 minutes of waiting and looking for a spot, one opened up towards the back of the lot. Furious at the nerve of the driver being so inconsiderate, I wrote a note saying, "Sorry, I hit your car, you probably won't even notice the damage," and left it on their windshield. When I got out of class and was headed back to my car, I saw a very stereotypical college-age Corvette's owner frantically searching their vehicles while yelling into their phone. I don't know who they were talking to, but I feel bad for them having to deal with this person. That is some Jedi mind trick right there. Very, very smart and petty at the same time. On to the 6th story shared by /Sloppy Moses. Taking my parking spot, what goes around comes around. This may be the pettiest things I've ever done. So, in my city, there's a pub that's attached to a donut shop that serves the best donut in the city, which always causes a long line. Because it's attached to the pub, it doesn't close until 9 p.m. as there is a solid flow of business rolling in. Anyway, my girlfriend and I get a serious hankering for some snacks, and so we decide to head to the donut shop and arrive at around 8:30 p.m. by car. Now, there are only 3 parallel parking spots a little up the street from the place, and they're all like 15-minute spots, which are usually full. We see up the street that, count our lucky stars, a spot is free. My girlfriend pulls a little ahead of the car in front of the spot, turns on her indicator, and begins backing into the parking spot when this little white Vespa driving behind us whips into the spot. I roll down our window and call out to the driver, "Excuse me, we're just backing in." The driver seems to be a pretty university student who shrugs her shoulder and calls out to me, "Sorry, first come, first serve," while she and her friend share a good laugh. My girlfriend suggests that we just get the donuts another time, and I tell her that she can drop me off here. I'll buy the donuts since I know what she likes and she can loop around. She agrees, and I pop out of her car past the little white Vespa where the girls are still gathering their things and head to the shops. As always, the line is super long for donuts, and since this is the last batch, the donuts are slim pickings. The girls are behind me looking at the 5 or different flavors that are left, talking about which ones are the best and which they haven't had yet. I hear one of them jokingly mention, "Thank God we got a parking spot," and they burst out laughing. I get to the front of the line, and when asked for my order, request 2 dozen of donuts, which is every last one remaining. The girl behind me didn't listen to what I ordered, but eyebrows of confusion started to form on their faces, and then they slowly saw each donuts loaded into their boxes, and their options dwindle. One of them, the driver in desperation, asked the baker, who was loading them in, "What? You're not even gonna save a few for us though?" To which I turned around and said, "Sorry, first come, first serve." She honestly looked like she just got simultaneously solved a movie mystery and crap her pants. It's difficult to put into words, but truly an expression I can never forget. Best donuts I ever taste, and enjoyed by the rest of my office the next morning. So that's like 3 stories about stealing parking spots in a row, but in different situations. On to the 7th story shared by rslash Turtle Shoes. Don't want to wait for your turn? Now wait 10 minutes. This happened to me last night. I got in my car to pick up my girlfriend and my tire pressures light came on. I have a 12V air compressor in my backseat, but it's loud and fills sort of slowly, so I opted to drive to the local Wawa. For those who don't have Wawa, it's like 7-Eleven got sober and went to college, Lamau. Wawa's air pumps are free to use, which usually means there are at least a few cars lined up. But when I pulled in, there was only one other car. Score! I pulled behind the guy filling his tires, and an older gentleman in a BMW pulled in behind me. After about 3 minutes, a woman in a brand new Lexus pulls up directly next to me and puts her window down. "I only have to fill one tire, do you mind if I go in front of you?" she asked. I said, "Actually I do. We've been waiting here for a little bit, sorry." She muttered something while rolling her window up, and I put up mine. About a minute later, the guy at the pump was stunned. He backs up, and before I can even put my car in gear, Lexus woman pulls her car in front of mine diagonally, blocking me from pulling into the spot, and then pulls straight in after the first guy has moved. She climbs out of her car and gives me the most infuriating little wave. At this point, my anger gives me away to a ninja-like calm, and I know exactly what must be done. I pull my car forward and stop like 6 inches from her rear bumper. The air pump is in the corner of the lot, so Lexus woman has a curb in front of her, a curb to her right where the pump is, an open spot to her left, and now my dirty butt car right behind her brand new one. She's busy filling her tire and doesn't notice that I pulled right up to her car. I sat out of my car, grabbed my air compressor from the backseat, and started setting it up to fill my tire. Mr. BMW, who has remained completely still and silent, sees what I'm doing and asks if I can fill his tires too. I say of course and motion for him to park in the empty spot to Lexus lady's left. As soon as he pulls in, she noticed what is happening and starts yelling. I flipped on my air compressor and begin filling my tire, her cries drowned out by the sound of the 250 PSI of justice. She comes and stands in front of me, face beet red and little flecks of spittle popping out from between her cigarette teeth as she calls me all sorts of names. I calmly say, "Ma'am, I only have 1 tire to fill. You don't mind, do you?" Mr. BMW is absolutely loving this, and as I finish my tire and move to fill his, she starts up again. "You mother duckers, ducking piece of crap, buttholes, etc." I finish Mr. BMW's tires, and he thanks me for my help, climbs in his car, and pulls away grinning. I rub my compressor up nicely, pick up a good song, and set my climate control to a balmy 82 degrees, all while Lexus lady is trapped in front of me. I calmly back up and give her a little wave and drive up into the night. TLDR, lady takes my spots at the air pump, I block her in and fill my tire and the gentleman behind me with my own very slow, very loud compressor. Now, I slowly realized that why people are so drawn into this subreddit. Most of these acts are very petty and minor, yet extremely satisfying. On to the 8th story shared by u/10sna1, calling her fake quitting bluff. This happened years ago, but still makes me smile. I started working in a corporate office in a secretarial position for my first job after college. There were 2 older ladies who were also secretaries working in the office. One of them were just fine, but I spent most of my time sitting beside and working with Agnes. Agnes was quickly approaching retirement age, but wasn't going anywhere without a big push. This was in the days where we just started getting computers, and she was absolutely hopeless. She would pull stuff like, "I can't answer the phone, I'm on a computer." Multitasking was not in this woman's repertoire. She was super fussy and annoying. If I ever come back from lunch 5 minutes late, she would exclaim loudly, "OMG, there you are! I was wondering what had happened to you," making sure the whole office knew I was late. Meanwhile, she was usually late coming in the morning and often left early for various appointments. If I made a typo in a document, she would make sure the rest of the staff knew about it, loudly. She tended to pout when things didn't go her way, and she would quote-unquote quit her job when someone pisses her off, and then my boss would talk her into staying. I'd heard about this tactic of hers, and one day our boss did something that annoyed her and she quote-unquote quit again. My boss was away that day, so I had a chance. I quickly advertised and planned a big retirement party for her. It was a done deal by the end of the day. People were dropping by and congratulating her, and everyone looked forward to the party. At that point, I guess she figured that it was too late to pull her usual shenanigans, and she actually retired. I told my boss to not bother replacing her because it was darn easy to cover the little work she actually accomplished every day. The cake is a lie, my friend. Revenge, sometimes best when served with a cake. On to the final story shared by u/trying close to my best. I'm sorry, who are you? Context, I've 20 female, been bullied all my life, and I've been in recovery for a multitude of things for the past year or so. I go to university in the same city I grew up in, so there's a high chance of me coming across people who went to previous schools who hurt and bullied me. I was well known for being bad-tempered and easy to wind up when I was younger. So what happened? I was in the pharmacy waiting to pick up my prescription when someone shouted something at me. I pretended not to hear them, and they shouted again. They ended up getting frustrated and tugging on my arm. I twisted around and I immediately recognized who it was, a guy, 20 male, who had bullied me for over 10 years. So rather than get angry, I thought I would mess with him and see what happens. Him, "Hi, heard you were in the local university." Me, "I'm sorry, but I don't know who you are, and do I know you from somewhere?" Immediately, he deflated. It was glorious to see. I had to stop myself from smiling. Him, "It's me, his name from school. Come on, you know me." Me, with a confused face, acting level 100. "I'm really sorry, but I don't know you. Did we go swimming together, perhaps?" Him, "No, I don't think so." Me, "I'm really sorry, but I just don't know who you are. I think you should go to the back of the line, sir." I went on my phone and just blocked him out. He looked lost and eventually went to the back of the line. I got my prescription, ignored him, and went to my car and drove off. I literally screamed for joy, and also because I was about to break down. It was a wonderful feeling to see him like that and to feel like he had nothing against me. To make him feel like he hadn't even had a large effect on my life. And I just want to clarify that he didn't shout my name, but said, "Oi, Ginger!" And that he was probably gonna make fun of the fact that I was going to local university and not a better one. A pure and simple revenge indeed. His ego was the reason he was a jerk, and you got him right where it hurts. That's it for today, fellow humans. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you guys next time!